Today we're at Belridge Elementary School, home of the Panthers, and we're here to... And once again, we're back at Belridge Elementary School. We've got some students and we are working on greatest common factor and least common multiple. So, once again, if we think about a multiple, okay, it's by counting 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, right? You guys remember all that? Okay. Take a look at the problem that I've put down between the both of you, all right? So, do me a favor if you can read that out loud.
When the pennies are put in groups of 2, there's only 1 penny left over. When they are put in groups of 3, 5, and 6, there's also 1 penny left over. But when they are put in groups of 7, there are no pennies left over. How many pennies could there be?
Okay, so you need to know your multiplication, right? And you need to know that, once again, it says if they're in groups of 2, there's 1 left over. Okay? If they're in groups of 3, 5, and 6, there's also 1 left over. But if they're in groups of 7, there are none left over. So you have a 100 chart to work on if you need to like cross out some numbers and stuff as you're going through this. You can work on it on your own, or you can work with the person next to you and see if you can come up with how many pennies are left. You guys ready? Only one question you have to find out, how many pennies there are. Go. So does anybody have an idea of where you would like to start? Does anybody have a number to try? What do you think?
21.
Try 21. All right, perfect. So let's try 21, okay? Now, if they're put in groups of 2, if you have 21, can you put them in groups of 2 and have 1 left over? Yes, because you'll have how many groups?
2.
You'll have 10 groups, right? 10 groups of 2, and there will be 1 left over. So 21 works so far. Now, what about if they're in groups of 3? If you put 21 in groups of 3, will there be any left over? No, because it works out even, right? So 21 won't work. Who's going to try the next number? What's another number? You all know multiples of 7, right? Okay, what's another multiple of 7 besides 21?
35.
35, all right? Let's try 35. Now, if you take 35 and you put them in groups of 2, will you have 1 left over? If you count by 2s, can you get to 34? Yeah. And how many are going to be left over from 35? 1. Okay, so far it works. Now, what about 3s? If you count by 3s, how close to 35 can you get? What's 3 times 10?
30.
30. What's the next 3? 33. What's the next one? 36. Okay, so if we put them in 35, if we have 35 and we put them in groups of 3, will there be 1 left over? There'll be 2 left over, won't there? Okay, so 35 is not going to work. All right? What's the highest multiple of 7 you can think of that's on that chart? What's 7 times 10?
70.
Is there a number higher than 70 that 7 will go into?
77.
Which one? You guys are in 7th and 8th grade, right? Give me a number higher than 70. What's 7 times 11?
77.
77. What's the next highest number? Count by 7s. What's the next highest number after 77?
84.
84. What's the next highest number? 91. What's the next highest number?
98.
I'm going to give you a clue. It's one of the last 2 numbers. It's either 91 or 98. You try it. Let's see which one of you can get the answer. Any of you guys got the answer already?
91.
91? Are you sure 91 is the answer? If we divide it by 2, we can get to 90. There'll be 1 left over. Can 3 go into 90 evenly? Think about, can 3 go into 9? Yes, so they were good, all right? What else do we have? 5. Can 5 go into 90? 5 will go into any number that ends in a what?
Zero.
A 0, right? So we know 5 will work. Can 6 go into 90? Think about 60. Can 6 go into 60? Yes. Can 6 go into 30? Yes. So it's going to go into 90, right? So it goes into all of those with 1 left over. And 91 divided by 7 is what? Work it out on your paper if you need to. So how many times will 7 go into 91?
13.
13 times. There you go. So it satisfies all of those requirements. So for the final answer, what is it? How many pennies are there?
91.
91 pennies. There you go. Working on least common multiples with students at Belridge Elementary School.